Hello and welcome. I'm Stephanie Nikolic. This is your host for Success in Stilettos. It is my first day back live after becoming a new mommy just over 2 weeks ago. So I'm super excited to be here with you ladies. And today's something that I wanted to talk about that's on the agenda, that's something that I'm slightly obsessed about, or let's say maybe wildly obsessed. And that's about conversion ratios in business and how important it is to learn really the words and the branding and the imagery that speaks to your tribe in order to get them to take action at really high rates. And I don't know if you guys have attended some of my trainings, but I have one particularly where a couple of months ago we released it, probably, oh my gosh, now 4 or 5 months ago actually. And we got some really good conversion ratios. And that it was about 94% at one time, and then it came down to about 92.69%. It's kind of where it stayed. That was the last time I checked it, actually. So that's called the Moneymaker training. And I do talk about that in my training that's up, and you can catch it anytime. It's about an hour long. It's pretty good, and it talks about really the importance of opt-ins and how to convert them at really high levels. And you can download that anytime at stephanienikolich.com/create-convert. And it does talk about this particular training, which you can also watch, and it's my Moneymaker training. And I believe it's stephanienikolich.com/money-maker, but you can also visit my website and go to Business Building Swag and grab both of those trainings at any point in time as well. So I want to talk about exactly how I was able to obtain that high of a conversion ratio, because it's pretty unheard of. Typically, if you're getting 25, let's say 40% on a landing page of people to opt in, that's actually really good. Industry standard, I would say, is probably around 25%. But I hear a lot around the space. You know, I have a group, Female Entrepreneurs Collaborate. I have a lot of women in there. And a lot of times the things that I hear people speaking about is that maybe they don't even know what conversion rates they're getting. So that's one of the biggest problems that I see happening, is that you're not paying attention to your numbers. So you probably know a little bit about my story, but if it's your first time here today, I'll tell you just a little glimpse of kind of how I got started in this industry. So, well, let me back up before I get too excited and tell you a little bit more about who I am first, and then I'll tell you a little bit about my background. So basically today what I do is I help women build passive revenue streams in their businesses through the creation of strategies and systems through sales funnels, the use of sales funnels, so that they can build businesses that they're extremely passionate about, that are living in purpose, that are using their greatest gifts and their greatest skill set, but in a systematic and strategic way that allows them to leverage their success so that they can, like my goals is to build sandcastles on the beach with my baby in 2016. So I want women to be able to build 7-figure plus businesses on rinse and repeat without giving up the things that are most important to them in their lives. You know, in our industry, I think it's really big to do a lot of launching. That's not something I believe in. I like to build a business that builds momentum month after month after month. And so that's one of the things that I talk about with my clients. And so basically how to sum that up is that I am a sales funnel success strategist. And I help you basically catapult the cash flow in your business so that you can live the life that you desire and deserve, and build the business on rinse and repeat. So who doesn't want to do that? And so how I got started is I actually had one business before this, and it wasn't very successful. In fact, it was pretty close to being a failure. I don't necessarily believe in failure, but if I did, I was right there on the brink of it. I'd accumulated a lot of business debt, and one of the things that was really apparent in my business when I started to get back on track was that I did not pay attention to the numbers at all. Now, I did hire a bookkeeper, but what sense does a bookkeeper make if you're not looking at your profit and loss statements every month? So I kind of hid from the numbers. I knew that things weren't necessarily good. They weren't the way that I wanted them to be. But if you're avoiding them altogether, it's not going to get the situation any better whatsoever. And so that's really what led me to this huge pile of debt in my business. And it was really uncomfortable. And it took I hired a high-dollar mentor to really help refocus my mindset and to clear the mental clutter and to get back on track and start thinking in terms of a successful CEO despite of what my current circumstances were at the time. And so over that time, I grew into really paying close attention to the numbers in our business. And so if you're new in business, or even if you've been doing this for some time and you really haven't achieved that level of success, you know, maybe it's that you're not paying attention to what's going on in your business. the numbers. The numbers are really, 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 really important. And if that is not your strong suit, that's okay. You don't have to be the master of everything, right? Which equals being the master of nothing. Hire somebody or work with someone that can help you zone in on those things, that can shed light on those things, and that can teach you the way or the formula to create better conversion rates in your business. Because if you're spending money on ads or any type of revenue on marketing or advertising, and that's money going down the drain. So I don't know about you, but I don't particularly like to throw any money down the drain. So let's talk about this 92.69% conversion rate. I had an interview series that I did last week about getting building your list to 5,000 names. And just something that really was of interest was the topic of conversion rates and how I was able to, one, build a list so quickly, and also get, conversion rates that were sky high. I hear Facebook going off, and I want to click out of that so that you guys don't have to listen to that anymore. Okay, that should be better. I think we're done. And the simple thing is, like, I do have a tribe. I've nurtured them in a lot. I definitely put service over selling many times, many times. If you followed me for any given amount of time, you probably have seen that I really don't sell anything. I do add a lot of value where I can. In our group, Female Entrepreneurs Collaborate, and also in other Facebook groups, I try to show up and be present whenever possible, and then provide really good value to people. And that does definitely help get conversion rates higher. But the other thing is, with this particular training, the Moneymaker, it was geared towards helping coaches make more money in their practices. I asked questions. I mean, it seems so simple. I don't believe in having to throw mud at the wall and seeing if it sticks in business. I believe that you really need to get to know your tribe inside and out. And, it's so much more about meeting and creating and meeting income goals. It's really about building relationships, because when you build relationships at that level, your conversion rates on the other end will actually skyrocket. So, ask a lot of questions to your tribe. And if you're just starting out, that should be your number one priority, is building relationships with those people. What are you the best at? What can you say today that you're absolutely the best in the industry, or whatever it is that you do, your craft? What are you the absolute best at? And it doesn't have to be this big, long, crazy thing of 60 different pieces of things that you feel like are your strong suit. It can be one particular thing that you zone in on, that you become an industry expert, that you want to become known for. And I see a lot of people making this mistake in the industry. It's like, one week they're a marketing expert and they're helping people create Facebook ads and Facebook banner images and graphics, and the next week they're a relationship and love expert. It's like, if you confuse your audience, well, obviously your conversion rates are going to be in the toilet, but confuse consumers by nothing, right? So be really clear about whatever it is that you do, and speak that message in everything that you put out to the world. So branding is important, imagery, photos, important, copy, extremely important. All of these things are investments in your business. Something that I hear when people are starting out a lot that kind of drives me bonkers crazy is that I don't have the money. I don't have the money. I don't have the money. How do you expect people to invest in your business if you're selling products or services, if you're going around telling people that you don't have the money to invest in your own business? This is something that you should think about and should take away from today, if nothing at all. And it's really maybe a smack in the face with the truth, but it is something that needs to be talked about. When you're making investments in your business, I use the word investments, it is nothing like just spending money. It's not that you just go to the store and you pour money down the drain, or you go buy a new outfit and there's no purpose, or maybe you go buy a brand new car, you take a vacation for your family. That's spending money. That's not an investment in your business or your future. And if you're an entrepreneur that wants to make it past the 3 to 5 year mark, then I suggest, or even past the 1 year mark, I suggest you do start making business investments, and you really zone in on what's important to you. Where do you want to go with this business? And then you do pay attention to what your numbers are on a monthly basis, and you ask your audience. I mean, even if you have 5 people on your list, start with those 5 people. Start building relationships first. Start showing up in a consistent way. When people are happy to hear what you have to say, you have definitely started building a tribe. And I'm sure you've heard me say this before, but a tribe becomes raving fans, and raving fans become paying clients. And it happens in a very seamless way where it's never like you're pushing products or services. So, you know, I spend a lot of time in the online world. It's really my jam, right? Majority of my clients do come from online. And something that I do see often when I talk to people on the phone, let's say we have a consultation, they've been following me around, maybe they've downloaded training and opted, whatever it may be, get on the phone, and majority of them are not making enough money. So obviously that does go back to the conversion rates conversation, but the reason is because they feel like they have to push products or services on people. Pushing products or services on anyone will always leave you broke. Why? Because nobody wants to be sold. But, you know, on the other hand, we are in the business of selling things. So how do you get around that? And the truth is that you put service over song. You add a lot of value. So maybe the first time that you put out a product or service, it's not going to have a super high conversion rate, because if people don't know you as that industry expert yet, you have to build up a little bit of that credibility in the space and visibility. Once you have that, every single time over time, that you release a new product, a new opt-in, a new service offering, your conversion rate should start to get a little bit higher. Now, I do also believe very highly in the value of split testing things. I mean, why do you have to commit to doing it one particular way? If it's not working, you know, isolate the change, see what's happening, make small tweaks. Don't stick to any particular one thing that you feel completely 100% committed to, because if it's not working, it's not working. And it's not that you are a big fat failure, right? Definitely not. It's maybe that you didn't ask the right questions, or maybe you didn't portray what you were giving away or your service or product offering in the right words. And so you have to find out exactly what it is that's going to speak to your clients. And I have found in our business, and this was why we were knocked it out of the park with the Moneymaker training, was that, now this was an opt-in, obviously, that led into a live training, which now has become just an evergreen training. And the reason why the conversion rate was so high was because we were very specific. So if you go to the page and you check it out, again, it should be under Business Building Swag on StephanieNikolic.com. But if you go to the page and you check it out, you will see that we really encompass what we're going to cover in the training, whose pain points it's speaking to, you know, the specific audience as to how it's going to help them solve those problems. And then, like I mentioned, we had a 94% conversion rate at one time, and then it kind of settled into a 92.69%, which is absolutely incredible. So my little takeaway for the day is that, you know, I try to keep it short and sweet with these little Success in Stilettos live interactions. My takeaway for today is that if you really need some help in this department, right? If you really are serious about building a business that allows you to not have to make any sacrifices, and if you really want to catapult your sales and your cash flow in your business, if you're right on the brink of 6 figures, or maybe you've bypassed 6 figures, but you really want to connect the dots to get to a 7-figure business, and you can't quite figure out the way to do that without working more, because I believe in working smarter, not harder, I want you to reach out to me, okay? I want to connect with you personally. And this is only for particular people, because I'm very selective about who I work with. In fact, I've closed my offerings for private mentoring programs in the last quarter of 2015 and moving into 2016, but there are definitely ways that we can work together. And I want to work with people that are really super ready to rock and roll, type A, you know, no excuses. They just want to figure out the way exactly how to do this, and they need a little push or a little bit of help with the strategy and how to create proper systems and speak to their audiences in a way that is cohesive and a seamless way that leads them down the path to purchasing at all different levels. That's my specialty. That's what I do. That's my jam. That's my zone of genius. And so if that's you, if this makes sense to you, if struggling with conversion rates is something that keeps coming up in your business, or if you can't seem to really make enough sales and you're working your butt off and you want to get out of that chasing dollars for hours mentality, then please do reach out to me. So visit my website, StephanieNikolic.com. And grab a Millionista session on me. And it should just be in the info bar, Millionista session, but if not, I believe the URL is StephanieNikolic.com/Millionista-session. I hope this was good for you today. You got some good stuff, little golden nuggets out of this conversation. I will see you again here this Wednesday live at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please do sign up for the Success in Stilettos newsletter on our website so that you never miss a thing. You can click on the show, and I will catch you later. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of the day, and thank you for being here.